All right, today we're pulling back the curtain on something truly powerful, maybe one of the most powerful forces in human culture: storytelling. You know that feeling, right? That incredible moment when the real world just melts away and you are completely in another reality? A book you can't put down, a movie that has you literally on the edge of your seat? That feeling of total immersion is amazing. But have you ever stopped to wonder how it actually works? Well, here's the secret. It feels like magic, but it's not. It's architecture. Every single story that has ever captivated you is built on a structural foundation, a kind of invisible blueprint that storytellers use to build those worlds that we get so lost in. And today, we're handing you the keys to that blueprint. We're going to break it all down into 4 fundamental tools. By the end of this, you won't just experience stories, you'll actually be able to see the brilliant design hiding just under the surface. First up, the who. The people, or, the creatures, the robots, whatever, that live and breathe inside the story. Because let's be real, without someone to care about, a story is just, well, a bunch of stuff that happens. So what's the deal with a great character? Well, at their core, they're the ones driving the whole thing forward. And our job as analysts is to get inside their heads. We have to figure out what makes them tick, basically treat them like real people we're trying to figure out for the very first time. But hang on a second. They're not real, are they? They're just words on a page or pixels on a screen. So how in the world do creators make them feel so alive, so complicated, so human? They leave us a trail of clues. See, a good author can't just tell you a character is brave. That's lazy. They have to show you, and they do it in a bunch of key ways. What a character does, their actions, that's the best evidence. What they say gives away their personality. Sometimes we even get access to their private thoughts. Then there's how they look, how they carry themselves, and this is a big one, how other characters react to them. Every single one is a piece of the puzzle. And this right here is a perfect illustration. This is a tool analysts actually use, kind of like a detective's checklist for personality. By gathering evidence from all these different categories, you can build a really rich psychological profile of pretty much any character. Okay, let's move on to our second tool, the where and the when. This is the world the characters live in, also known as the setting, and I promise you it is so much more than just a pretty background. So setting really has 3 parts. First, the physical place, a futuristic city, a creepy forest, you get it. Second, the time, ancient Rome or the far future. But it's this third piece that's the real game changer, the social environment, the customs, the values, the unwritten rules of that society. This isn't just decoration, it's an active force that actually shapes the story. And here's the key point. The social environment, all those unwritten rules, can literally dictate what characters are able to do, or maybe even what they're allowed to think. I mean, a character's choices in Victorian England are going to be completely different from their choices in modern-day Tokyo, all because of the setting. Okay, so we've got our people and our place. Now we need the what. What actually happens in the story? This is the plot, the engine that drives everything forward. Now, this is a super important distinction, the difference between story and plot. A story is just a sequence of events. The king died, and then the queen died. It's just a timeline. Fact A, then fact B. But a plot adds causality. The king died, and then the queen died of grief. See that? That little phrase, of grief, connects the 2 events. It's not just a timeline anymore. It's a drama. Plot is all about the why. And that chain of cause and effect often follows this classic structure you see here. It's called Freytag's pyramid. Think of it like a roadmap. It starts with setting the scene. Then the rising action builds up all the tension. It all leads to the climax, the peak of the drama, the big turning point. After that, things wind down in the falling action and the resolution, where we see the aftermath. Honestly, most stories you love probably follow this basic shape. So we've got the who, the where and when, and the what. Our final tool is maybe the most subtle one, but it's also incredibly powerful, the whose eyes. In other words, the point of view. I mean, think about it. Who is telling us this story? Is it a character right in the middle of the action, or some invisible, all-knowing narrator? This isn't just a small technical detail. It fundamentally changes our entire experience, who we sympathize with, and what we believe is true. So let's quickly break down the most common types. First person, using I, locks you right inside one character's head. It feels super intimate, but you have to remember, your narrator might not be telling you the whole story. Then there's third person limited, which follows one character around using he or she. It gives you a great balance of closeness and a little bit of distance. And then you've got third person omniscient. This is like the God mode narrator who knows everything about everyone. You get the biggest picture, but it can feel a little less personal. Each choice gives you a completely different ride. So there you have it. Character, setting, plot, and point of view. Those are the 4 core tools. But the real magic, well, that happens when you put them all together. A great storyteller knows that these aren't just separate ingredients you toss into a bowl. They are deeply, deeply interconnected, almost like the gears of a finely tuned watch. They all have to work in perfect harmony, amplifying each other to create a single, unified effect. The goal isn't just to have a cool character and an interesting plot, it's to make them combine to create a specific feeling or idea in you, the audience. That's the real art. Just look at this example. It's the perfect recipe for suspense. You take a character who's naturally anxious. You put them in a dark, threatening setting. You build a plot where the danger gets closer and closer, and you tell the whole story from their terrified first-person point of view. What do you get? You don't just get a story about fear, you get the feeling of suspense itself. Each element is reinforcing the others to create that one powerful experience. And once you understand this architecture, it changes everything. You can move beyond just being a passive passenger, just being taken along for the ride. You now have the tools to see the structure underneath it all. You can appreciate the artistry, you can understand the techniques the creator is using to guide your emotions, and you can see exactly why a story works, or maybe why it doesn't. You hold the blueprint now. So the next time you finish a great book or a great movie, don't just say, wow, that was good. Ask yourself, why? How did the storyteller use these 4 tools to make you feel that way? The stories are waiting for you.